Okay, lesson 57. Excited to be here. I'm rearranging. Okay, we reviewed lessons 31 through 35. It's going so quickly. Please don't do that. My little helper. I'm not the victim of the world I see. I've invented the world I see. There's another way of looking at the world. I could see peace instead of this. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy. So I felt very moved by especially the last lesson. My mind is part of God's. I'm very holy. As it says, as I share the peace of the world with my brothers, I begin to understand that this peace comes from deep within myself. Which, all these lessons that I had that metaphor of like, go down into the well. It's in there. Drop down into the well of the truth. The world I look upon has taken on the light of my forgiveness and shines forgiveness back at me. And this was cool to read because, I'm not a victim of the world. I've invented the world. There's another way of looking at the world. For me, my world is so much my house. I don't have a huge worldview in terms of current events, which I am not suggesting is right or wrong. Even just my nature, I've learned from amazing Rosalind Rourke in my community, who is an expert on the Enneagram, that my way of relating is like, first, my instinct, I can call it, is intimate. So really, like having a child is like my world. I mean, my world is my family in my home because it's my most intimate connection. And that's kind of what almost feels like it gives me a sort of oxygen. So I don't really zoom out in the world that much. So for me, a lot of these lessons apply to really just what I'm seeing in the moment. Like I had a couple, when I was practicing the first one, I'm not victim of the world I see. It's just really noticing that sometimes I allow myself to believe I'm overwhelmed. I've got a lot going on. This isn't what I want, and geez, I don't get a lot of help. And it's like, you're making it this way. And you don't have to do everything, So I've had a lot of these realizations throughout the day, just like, because what I was getting from these lessons too is like, not only, for me, I'm aware my world sort of feels small, and I'm fine with that. And then within that world, sometimes I feel like a victim because that world feels demanding of me. And what I was getting from the lessons is like, it's demanding of me because I'm looking at it incorrectly. Life isn't about getting the things done and being on top of the things. And, so it's not only that my function isn't to do the things all day, and life isn't demanding. And that's what I was getting, because a lot of the Byron Katie inspiration I get is she holds the truth that like life is so loving. The world is so loving to us. It's so supportive. And so these lessons to me are pointing to the same thing, that the world isn't any kind of enemy. And I have noticed this there are moments where I get a kind of paranoia that the world is trying to moo. She knows moo cow now. That the world is trying to destroy me. Like, I remember this lady, bless you, honey. just remember being on a call with someone sometime where it was somebody I didn't know. And I remember her saying something about how upsetting it was for her that the grocery store had so much junk food in it, basically, and that junk food tasted good, and basically there's a sort of, what do you call that? Conspiracy? Like, kind of like, well, people don't know it's bad for you. I mean, I was like, I think people do, but but her point was, we're a victim of the food companies who are stocking our shelves with crap. And to me, that was like a metaphor of like how she felt a victim to like I really think she talked about Oreos. But I was like, we're not a victim of it. It's like, even just take the grocery store. It's just so many choices in there. And not only just what are you putting in your cart, but, you know, and this is what I think the lessons are pointing to. It's just not even about going in the grocery store, getting everything on your list, being efficient, and, you know, I don't know, avoiding all the bad things. There's just a whole nother way of approaching the grocery store. You can go in there enveloping everything with your holiness, including the Oreos. You can go in there kind of seeing what food is speaking to you. You know, I've heard Jennifer Hadley say, like, you know, and I've heard other people say, go in the grocery store and like let spirit put everything in your cart. But the point is, you can go through life letting spirit direct you and just taking all the meaning out of all the food and just seeing what speaks to you. Okay. This is just somebody's laying on the ground. Okay. I think she wanted a back rub. Hey. So I've had these kind of wake-ups where it's like, okay, the world isn't against me at all. In fact, it's totally for me. And I wrote this thing that I kind of wrote on my phone, because when I'm in bed, when she's still sleeping beyond me, I never seem to have a pen and paper nearby. I just don't. And then she's either on my lap and I can't move. So my phone is closest. Hi, Ernie. And I started writing myself a kind of morning, like a reminder. And it was like, good morning. You are here to be truly helpful. This kind of helpfulness prayer. But literally, it's like, how can I help myself remember what this really is about, what this world is, and how I can go about it. It's not to do the things, not to get the things done. That is such a trap for me. But I'm waking up way fast to it. So I'm going back to the end. I let myself be circular. It's cool, it's fine. Where I started. And it says, the world I look upon has taken on the light of my forgiveness, and it shines back to me. And that's the thing. Once we really commit to the forgiveness, really, even life is just, you don't even have to trick yourself to know. It's just really starting to be gentle. It's starting not to attack us at all. And I begin to understand the holiness of all living things and their oneness with me. It's so beautiful. I love the holiness. Boo. 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 I mean, she knows what the world is for. She knows the world is a fun place. Boo. Boo. You know, she gets hurt. She just needs a moment, and she's back. She's back to trusting the world. She's not blaming the world. It's scary. So let's hold on to that as long as we can. Oh, dear. So blessing your review of this, and grateful that you're listening to my musings of it. There's just so much good stuff. It's just innumerable to mention. So let's end there. Let's have our last. Look at the people. Where'd you go? Can you say peace? Bye-bye. Oh, okay. That was quick. Okay.